All praise is due to Allah, and peace be upon His chosen servants. To proceed, by the grace of Allah, we are still continuing our blessed and virtuous series, which is titled The Tolerance of Islam. And this episode, God willing, we have titled, For Those Who Wish to be Forbidden from the Fire, or For Whom the Fire Will be Forbidden. Do not think for a moment that we have strayed from the topic of tolerance. We are still discussing the tolerance of Islam. In the previous episodes, I was discussing indications and texts from the Book of Allah, the Exalted, regarding the matter of tolerance. I thought to conclude that with just a few more pieces of evidence before moving on to the title I just mentioned, so that the benefit may be complete. By the will of the most merciful, most compassionate, Allah the Exalted said, and good and evil are not equal. I want to pause at this verse. And good and evil are not equal. What does that mean? What does it mean? It means that Allah the Exalted is making it clear to you that good and evil are never equal. An evil deed is evil, and it is well known that it incurs punishment. And a good deed is good, and it is well known that it has a reward. She has an account. It has merit. It has a reward from the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. That is why He commands us and encourages us to do good deeds and forbids and prohibits us from committing evil deeds. That is why He commands us to respond to evil with good. Why is that? Because doing good is an Islamic trait. In other words, the action itself. Because performing good deeds is an Islamic characteristic. And it is well known that doing good is also one of the qualities we have been discussing since the beginning of this series. That is why I say, by the will of Allah the Almighty, that it is included within the tolerance of Islam. And what greater tolerance is there than our Lord the Almighty commanding us to respond to evil with good? In this, the quality of tolerance is manifested by the will of Allah the Almighty. Also from the words of Allah the Almighty, and tell my servants to say that which is best, and tell my servants to say that which is best. Indeed, Satan sows discord among them. This reason that comes after explains what came before. And tell my servants to say that which is best. See, they are to say that which is best. That is, with one another in their words, in their dealings, in their behavior with each other, and also with others who are not Muslims. Say to my servants and tell my servants to say that which is best. That is with Muslims and with non-Muslims. Why is that? Because kind words, by the permission of Allah the Almighty, enter the hearts. And because kind words, by Allah's permission, attract hearts and bring about goodness. And because good speech, by Allah's permission, leads to beneficial outcomes. Whereas bad speech, God forbid, leads to harm and evil consequences. That is why our Lord, glorified and exalted be He, commanded us to respond to bad deeds with good ones. Also, by Allah's permission, after those simple evidences which I had promised to conclude, I will mention some hadiths narrated by the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, regarding tolerance. Their meaning is that whoever upholds them, acts upon them, and adopts their morals, by Allah's permission, will be forbidden from the fire, and the fire will be forbidden for him. And the fire will be forbidden for him, and by the will of the One, the All-Forgiving, he will be saved. So let us now look together at these evidences. By Allah's permission, glorified and exalted be He. Our Master, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, says in the authentic hadith, whoever would like Allah to save him from the distress of the day of resurrection, let him relieve someone in hardship or grant him respite, or let him relieve someone in hardship or grant him respite. Let's take a look at the beginning of what our Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, and see whether it is connected to the title we mentioned at the start of the episode, the one you saw written on the episode. Yes, it is connected, because the fire will be forbidden for you if you follow the words of our Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and the fire will be forbidden for you, and by Allah's permission, you will be saved from the fire on the day of resurrection. That's why our Prophet says, whoever is pleased that Allah saves him from the distress of the day of resurrection. Whoever is pleased that Allah the Almighty and Majestic saves him from the distress of the day of resurrection, what should he do? Let him relieve someone in hardship or reduce their debt. This is from the hadith in Sahih Muslim number 1563. Let me bring you the second hadith from the words of the infallible Prophet. Peace and blessings be upon him. Shall I not tell you of the one for whom the fire is forbidden? Meaning, shall I tell you who is forbidden to the fire? Pay close attention with me. Whose words are these? They are from the one who does not speak from his own desire, as Allah the Almighty and Majestic says, nor does he speak from his own inclination. It is not but a revelation revealed. That's why he says, shall I not tell you of the one for whom the fire is forbidden, or upon whom the fire is forbidden, or upon whom the fire is forbidden? It is every person who is close, gentle, and easygoing. Every person who is close, gentle, and easygoing. That is, the one who possesses the qualities of graciousness, the one who is gracious, the one who is characterized by this great Islamic virtue. That's why we say, so-and-so is gracious, or so-and-so has graciousness. So-and-so is characterized by the virtue of graciousness. Who is this person? He is the one who is close. He is the gentle one. He is the one who is easygoing in his dealings with others, whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims. This hadith, of course, is reported by Imam al-Tirmidhi, who said it is Hasan Garib. I said by the will of Allah the Almighty. It was also narrated by Al-Tabarani and Abu Ya'la from Jabir, and the status of the hadith is Hasan, God willing. All right, now I come to a truly remarkable hadith, everyone, and it is beautiful, making the matter as clear to us as the sun at its zenith. It truly shows us that a person, by Allah's permission, can be saved from this distress, and the fire will be forbidden to him even if he had sins and other such matters. But Allah refuses except to envelop him in His mercy. Come along with us now. And from Hudayfa, may Allah be pleased with him, Allah brought forth one of His servants. Of course, this narration has several versions. I will present you one version and cite it for you now. And I will tell you its status. Allah brought forth a servant. Allah brought forth one of His servants to whom He had given wealth and said to him, what did you do in the world? What did you do in the world? Of course, as it is said, and they will not be able to hide anything from Allah. Everything will be revealed. After all, who are you speaking to? You are speaking to your Lord, from whom nothing is hidden and nothing escapes His knowledge, even the treachery of the eyes and what hearts conceal. Look, he said, O Lord, you gave me wealth. You provided me with wealth and brought it to me. And then I used to trade with people, and one of my qualities was leniency. What does that mean? It means tolerance and ease in selling and collecting debts. This was part of my character. That is my character. I am tolerant in selling and in collecting debts. So I would make things easy for those who were well off and give time to those who were in hardship. For the person who was well off and had means and abundance, I would make things easy for him. And as for the one in hardship, I would give him time if he said, by God, I can't pay today. No problem. Next week. All right. Next month. All right. Next year. All right. See, so God said, I am more deserving of this than you. I am more deserving of this than you. Meaning, I am more deserving that I pardon you. Why? Because our Lord is the most generous. He is the rich, the forbearing. Then the Almighty says, pardon my servant as He used to pardon people. Pardon my servant, for I am more deserving of that. That is why He says to him, I am more deserving of this than you. The narration I have cited is from Imam al-Bukhari in Fath 1477 and Muslim 1560. But this particular wording is from Imam Muslim. May God have mercy on him. Until I meet you again in another episode, God willing, I say to everyone, peace be upon you, and God's mercy and blessings.